Welcome to California Excrement Employers 3. You'll notice there's been quite a delay, or there's been a much larger gap between the second and third one than the first and second one. That's because there have been a lot of things happening that have made making this video not feel as complete without including them. So let's proceed. You got Great American Chicken Corp, that's 8 applications. You have, and actually it's kind of funny with this one, I initially planned on going, you'll never guess how many 7-Elevens I applied to. And I just said, screw it. So it's actually 31, but the reason it says 32 is because I accidentally went to the corporate careers section of their website, which is where they ask for people that have degrees to be supervisors and, you know, positions that are considered to be higher in the company. So because I opened that one, they say you started, whereas with the other ones, they're all finished. And you can actually see they're finished by the various thank you for applying at 7-Elevens that you see spammed in my email. I did them all in about a 2-hour span. And it was pretty tiring because one of the things people might not know is that when you go on a website, such as the one that Jack in the Box has, they actually let you apply to multiple places, whether that's 5, 10, 15, all at once. When I applied to 14 Jack in the Boxes, I believe that was a month ago, I hit a button and suddenly I'd applied to that whole group in about maybe 4 or 5 minutes. That's a really nice, handy fee, even though they've been pissing me off by not getting back to me and kind of pretending like I don't exist. I will admit that's a nice feature on their website. But with 7-Eleven, I had to go to each one of those 31 that you see right there and just keep pressing that button over and over. So they spam my email because I spam them with applications. Now, if you add that 31 to the 8 from before, that's 39, which is already more days than in the month, by the way. And we got to our last entry, which was Costco earlier this month. And that is 6. All of those are for the bakery wrapper. I can't reapply there for another 3 months. As you see, it says 90 days. So you have to wait for your application to no longer be active. And, you know, that's fine, whatever. I'm not in any big rush to do that. So if you add the 39 to the 6 on this page you're seeing right now, to the 53 that you saw in the past 2 videos, that is 98. And I can't really say I'm surprised by this. See, what I was trying to do with this upload was give you a number, because, you know, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 10. I wanted a big number that basically was larger the number of days in the month to show that you can actively pursue this stuff and it still doesn't make a difference. But I did also hold off a little bit on putting this out because there was something amazing that happened. So remember, I applied to 31 7-Elevens. Not 5, not 10, not 15, not 20, not 25, not 30, 31. And would you like to know how many of them said something back to me? I bet it was, you know, maybe half, 8, 5. No. Yeah. 1. And I just want you to think about this, because sometimes I get that people forget about the dates and they don't always remember what the gap of time is between when places respond and when we're actively looking for somewhere to work for our own survival. I applied to all of those on March 26th. And you can go back earlier in this video and look and see that it says March 26th on the side of the screenshot of the inside of my email. These people did not get back to me until almost a month later. March 26th, April 24th. That's one of the biggest issues I have with having sought employment, that even when people respond back to you, it still is such, it's so far removed from when you actively needed their help that it almost doesn't matter. Like, I wish you could just go somewhere, sign an application, speak to some guy or people for over the course of a week or two, and then get hired. Why can't that be a thing anymore? But anyways, let me explain to you what happened here. So this person says they noticed I applied to this particular store. I bleeped out because I always bleep out what particular stores I'm referring to. Just know it was one of those 31. And they tell me to either call them or email them, and to do it quickly because they're rapidly fulfilling positions. And I can understand that because of the virus epidemic and whatnot. So I send them an email not even 6 hours after this email is sent. So on that same day, April 24th, 3 days go by. And remember, I'm going off of their logic because I have no problem waiting maybe a few days for someone to say something, but they're like, man, you gotta hurry up. You gotta make sure that you respond to us really quickly. Come on. So 3 days pass, and I haven't received an email from these people. And I still, as I'm making this at the end of the month, it's the 30th, haven't received an email from these people. I call this number that they give, and I say, hey, I'm available. I say that I repeat what was in the email. I say I'm available on the weekdays. Anytime you want to speak, just call me, send me a message, we can schedule something. And no response. So this was what I was talking about when I said, I think if people, after these 3 videos, after these 98 applications, still believe that I don't have one of these positions because I didn't want one or I'm lazy, just go to hell. Because the point of doing these is to show you the proof. The fact that even when these people seem like when I saw this email, even though it had been a month since I had applied to all those different 7-Elevens, I actually got excited because it seemed to be just a little bit different than from how all the other places were acting. But I mentioned before that this is the same scenario as has happened in the past, where they'll invite you for an interview, they'll smile in your face, and then they'll cast you aside. And sometimes you won't even get that far. Sometimes they'll send you an email asking some questions, you answer, they ignore you. I'm just so tired of the false hope associated with so many things that I do. If someone's not going to hire me, I don't need them to write me a stupid email saying, oh yes, we're actively considering your application. Because if these bastards were serious, it wouldn't have taken almost an entire month for just one of them to say something back. Remember, 31 7-Elevens now have an application by yours truly. And out of those 31 7-Elevens, I was only contacted about my application to one of them. And you don't see what's wrong with that. You don't think it's disturbing that to hear back from one goddamn employer, I have to fill out enough applications that could make up 6 basketball teams? When I did the 31, I wanted the number to be so ridiculous because I was always going to respond back if these people said something. I just was really disturbed by the fact that even in doing all of those, you still only get 1. If it had been 5, I would have been all right with it. Maybe 10, that would have been decent, but only 1 person out of 31. But yeah, when I did those, I wanted the number to look ridiculous to illustrate the fact that these places are not trying to hire anyone. They're trying to hide behind this stupid virus and go, oh, well, people are concerned about safety and things are closed down. But they were doing this before. Go watch those first 2 videos. The second one came out multiple weeks before the pandemic caused all of these different places to close down. So we know that this is back to normal status quo for them. ignoring people like myself who are seeking out employment just for the hell of it. And as I mentioned before, when I went to that corporate position and it said you need a degree, I left it alone, which is why I was the only one of those 32 I didn't actually finish. So I don't need to be lectured about my lack of qualifications, because you don't need a PhD to make slushies. And you sure as hell don't need it to hear back from more than one of 31 places you applied to from the same employer. Well, I'm sorry, one of 98.